Hey, this is Brian of Trifonic, and today I'm going to talk about multi-band rhythmic gating. So first I'll play you an example of what that sounds like, and then I'll talk a little bit about how it's done. So the basic premise behind this whole concept is taking a sound and then splitting it up into a few different frequency bands and then processing each of those frequency bands a little bit differently. So in this case I have a couple different gating plugins that create different rhythms, and so for different frequency areas of the spectrum there's different gating patterns and different panning and effects. I think there's a number of different methods. There's a couple different plugins that can split an audio file into different frequency bands. Some of the vocoder plugins will do that sort of thing. There's also pieces of hardware that do that. The way that I chose to do it in this particular example, and a very simple way to do it, is just to use basically a number of bandpass filters, and you can just use that. You can do that with EQs. So using the Logic's channel EQ, I created basically 5 different bands. So I have a low band, a low mid, a mid high, and high band. So the low band, basically what it is I've got more or less a low pass filter that's happening right here, and it goes down to 166 Hertz. So this is just the frequencies from basically 20 Hertz to 166 will pass through this channel. And then I've got on my low mids, I've got from 150 Hertz to about 500 Hertz. So I've got a high pass filter and a low pass filter, and notice they both have the same slope, 12 dB per octave. And there's a little bit of crossover too, like between these bands, they overlap a little bit. Next band is from 500 Hertz to 1020 Hertz, and then I've got my mid-high here, which is from 1040 Hertz to 3.5 K. And last but not least, I've got the high band, which is 3.5 K up to basically 17 K. So what I do with the sounds to basically what you're hearing before is that I've got an EXS24 instrument, and its track output is set to no output. So it's only sending through these buses here. So I have buses 1 through 5, and that's what these are here, my different bands. So for example, bus 1 goes to the low band, bus 2 goes to the low mids, etc. So this takes the sound and it's splitting it into these different frequency bands, and then I have different effects chains on them. So I've got my low band, I've got a tape delay, and that's followed by a gate. This is Sine Vibes Gate Boy. It's just a very, very simple sort of trance gate style gate. Auto filter can do a similar type of thing. I can use this cutoff modulation to 100%, set this rate to something like 16th notes. Anyway, lots of ways to do it. There's lots of also like just straight up trance gate plugins that will work. Camel Fat works, Camel Space by Camel Audio, those are great. I'm sure for PC there's all kinds of freeware stuff and other gates. So Gate Boy is one alternative. It works great. And so on each different frequency band I've got different settings on it, and I also have different delays and things. So my mid band I've got different pattern. It's followed by this delay designer. So we can listen to them and sort of check out what that sounds like. So first let's hear the instrument just not being split into bands, just straight up. So I'm going to enable its output here so we can actually hear it. Let's solo this guy, and then let's just hear. So that's just an EXS kit of my cousin Christina She sang vocals on Sooner or Later, and we just pulled a few notes and made a nice kit out of it. So let's hear that through these different rhythmic gating bands. So I'm going to set it to no output, and then I'm going to enable all my sends, which split it into bands. Let's hear what that sounds like. And so now that we're listening to this, I can solo each band individually. So here's just the low frequencies, and it has this pattern. Got the low mids. And I've got this one panned a bit, it's a little bit quieter. And then here's the high band. And then here's a few of them, or all of them. And I can adjust these levels to get the balance I want in the frequency spectrum. So that's one of the sounds, but the nice thing about this format is on any channel I can send it out to these different buses, and it will split the sound into bands. So I did that with not only my Vox kit, but also that SH09 kit, which I've talked about in previous videos. So I've got that, and then I have one of, this is just a guitar pad. It's like one guitar note that's ringing out for a pretty long time through some reverbs. And so here's what that sounds like gated. And then last but not least, the other sound I had was just an audio file. This is of a santur, which is an Indian instrument, and this is actually just an Apple loop. I just pulled it from their loop library, and I stretched this out for a few minutes, just using the time stretch in the sample editor. This is Logic 8. If you have Logic 9, you can use the Flex audio and just drag it out, and it's super simple, easy to do. In any case, let's hear what that sounds like through this gate as well. So organic sounds like that, I think, sound really good through these gates when you stretch them out and make pads from them. I think it's really beautiful. So let's hear all of them now, and I've got a kick drum in there as well, just to sort of keep the time and give it some contrast. I can adjust the relative volumes of any of these bands if I don't like this balance of things. So anyway, as you can see, lots of possibilities with the multi-band rhythmic gating.